I'm actually an online entrepreneur. That means I run several online businesses. The company we were focused on today is Rally Academy, which is a global e-business education brand. The head office of the company is actually in Europe. But right now in Africa, they have a branch office in Lagos, Port Harcourt, and even in Ibadan. And the focus of the company is actually to connect people with inspirational experiences to the opportunities that are available when it comes to making money online right now.
Okay, so let's start from the basics. Before we talk about e-trading for a living, let's try to understand, what is e-trading?
Okay, for some of us who might be listening to the Academy for the first time, e-trading actually means electronic trading and actually means internet trading. For some of us who are used to, the physical trading like e-commerce, where you are buying and selling tangible products, when it comes to e-trading, everything you are buying and selling is virtual. So we're looking at e-trading, we're looking at online or electronic buying and selling of financial instruments such as shares, commodities, currencies, and all these things you are buying and selling them in a bid to make some good profit from them. That's what e-trading is.
Wow, it sounds quite simple.
Yeah.
But is e-trading a new business? It's becoming quite popular these days.
Actually, e-trading is not new. E-trading has been around for at least 30 years. What's actually making it popular now is because the internet and technology is making it very, very accessible. There was a time that, for instance, the only the rich had access to the internet. The only the rich had access to mobile devices. But today, everybody has a phone that is online. And with your phone now, you can connect to London, you can connect to New York, you can connect to Germany, and begin to make money directly from the financial market. One thing I keep telling people these days is this. If there's any time that one should appreciate to be alive, it's now. Because for the first time in history, the world is operating at a level playing ground. That means anybody from anywhere, with your phone, for instance, or your laptop or your tablet, you can connect to anywhere in the world and begin to make money from this market. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So this is the best time to be alive. I can tell you that.
All right, great. Best time to be alive. I like the way that sounds. Let me ask you, can a person really trade for a living?
Absolutely. Trading is like any profession or job or a business. And in these days that jobs are disappearing and one actually needs multiple streams of income to actually stay ahead, trading is actually becoming a great source of income for a living. And even there are reasons why I even feel trading can actually be superior to job or some other profession. For instance, with trading, you can work from home. That means you are not tied to any location. Then you don't need to have staffs. That means you don't need employees. We are not competing with anybody. You don't need to start big. You can start with very, very, very small money. And then there's unlimited income potential. That means how much you can make is unlimited. It's not like a job where you have fixed income. And then this is a business that can make you money immediately. Immediate income is something that in a month or less, one can actually start making money. Then you can trade part-time, full-time, or 24 hours. And then you're not affected by economic cycles. All these economic problems in trading, we take advantage of them. And then the market is leveraged. And finally, we have what they call high liquidity, which means at any time, you can actually be in the market and come out of the market with anybody disturbing. So there's some reasons why I even feel trading is not just a source of living, but it's a superior source of making a living.
If one can trade for a living,
Yep.
Can you break it down into monetary terms? How possible is it?
Okay, let me make it as simple as possible so that everybody listening to me can understand how much money you can make on a monthly basis and see whether this kind of income is something you need to make a living.
Okay.
So let's take a practical example like a currency trader who is trading, for instance, euro against the dollar. And if you go, for instance, on Google and search, what is the average movement of euro against dollar every day? And if you check it, you see that it moves at least 130 points daily. So let's assume out of this 130 points every day, a trader is able to pick 100 points. And if you are trading at $1 per point, that's $100 daily. And with 22 trading days in a month, that's $2,200 in a month. If you convert that to Naira, you observe that is not a bad income to make on it.
Wow.
Well, let's even take it higher. Let's assume instead of trading at $1 per point, you are trading at $2 per point, or even as high as $10 per point. You can begin to imagine potentially how much one can make depending on one's trading capital from trading on the financial market. So you can see clearly that one can really trade for a living and make far more than several other professions you're looking at.
Wow, this is getting very, very interesting. How can one start trading for a living?
For me, for instance, let me give you my own personal example. It wasn't as if, I got to school and then trading became a profession for me. No, actually, I have a background in mechanical engineering, okay? And trading became one of those things I stumbled on when I couldn't get a job in engineering. And so trading has become a profession for me. But before I actually went deep into trading, I actually needed to educate myself. Now, I started, for instance, from self-education, which wasn't very good. But for you to actually do well in the business, you need proper training, you need education, and then you need mentorship. So the first thing I think people need to actually begin to develop a profession in trading for a living is that you need to be properly educated. You need proper education. And secondly, you also need to to have the right tools, apart from the gadgets, maybe your phone, your tablet, and your laptop. You need to have the right softwares on them that can actually help you in making better trading decisions. And like I told you earlier, for instance, it was when I actually got to London Academy of Trading that I discovered that the best tools are the things that actually makes one the most profit when it comes to trading. So two things you need. First one is education, and then the right softwares that can help you in making far better trading decisions. That's it.
So where can Nigerians get these tools and education to begin to trade for a living?
Well, that's where the Academy is here. Well, Academy, like I said, is a company that connects you with infinite experiences to the opportunities that are available online. And right now, we are the number one company when it comes to educating Nigerians as it relates to actually trading in the financial market. And that's why we are having what we call the Global E-Trading Conference. We actually call it the GET Conference.
Okay.
Global E-Trading, that's GET, the GET Conference. We are going to be getting you to begin to trade for a living. Global E-Trading Conference, all right? And we're going to be having this conference all over Nigeria. I get what I'm saying? And in this conference, we're going to be putting in your hands all the softwares that you need to succeed as a trader. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be opening a trading account for you. We're going to look at how to trade commodities, how to trade stocks, how to trade currencies, how do you buy, how do you sell, how do you know when and the best time to buy or sell, and the tools and top strategies that traders in the world actually use to actually make money from the financial market. All these things we're going to be looking at this Global E-Trading Conference. I can tell you, you can't afford to miss it.
All right, so GET Conference is an opportunity for Nigerians to learn
absolutely
the tools and skills on how to trade.
On e-trading, yes.
Now, who should attend the GET Conference?
I think there are two major categories of people. People who are actually listening to me right now, and you've been thinking of developing a living or a source of income from e-trading, all right? You should be at this conference. That means you know nothing about trading, you want to start your career, so you can actually be a business person, an employee, an investor, a retiree, even a job seeker. That means you're in school or you just left school, or you can be a housewife sitting at home doing nothing. Trading can be a source of extra income for you. Then you should be at this conference. Secondly, if you're somebody, maybe you've attended a conference or a training or a seminar on trading and you're having serious difficulty, well, I can tell you categorically, Riley Academy has superior education when it comes to trading. So you should be at this conference. We are going to be teaching you how you can begin to trade for a living.
All right, so if you care about trading for a living, this is the conference for you.
Absolutely.
Now, what's the requirements to attend the GET Conference? Is there a fee attached?
There's no requirement. The conference is absolutely FOC. That's free of charge.
Wow.
You pay nothing for it. You don't have to be computer literate. As long as you can click on your tablet, phone, then you should be at this conference. You begin to learn how to trade for a living, and it's free of charge.
Okay, absolutely free of charge. Tell us the date, time, and venue of this conference and how people can register to attend.
The conference will be taking place for 2 days right here in the city of Port Harcourt. 2 very, very powerful days. You can't afford to miss it. Please, you don't have to stay for the 2 days. Just pick one of the days to be there. And the date the conference will be taking place is this week, Thursday 22nd, and Friday, the 23rd of August 2019. This week, Thursday 22nd, and Friday, the 23rd of August 2019. And on these 2 days, the time will be from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. From 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So 3 hours of very, very life-changing time. The venue of the event on that day will be at LA Kings Hotel. LA Kings Hotel. The address is 31 Stadium Road, opposite First Bank, right here in the city of Port Harcourt. LA Kings Hotel. The address is 31 Stadium Road, opposite First Bank, right here in the city of Port Harcourt. Very popular place. You cannot miss it. Now, it's also very important that you register to be at this event, so we know you are coming and we can prepare for you. And the register is very simple. All you need to do, send an SMS to your phone number, and then your seat will be reserved to be at this event. So take your phone right now. Let me show you how to register. If you want to attend on the first day, which is Thursday, the 22nd of August 2019, send an SMS with the word PH1. PH is short for Port Harcourt, and the number to this phone number 0708 955 5992. That phone number again, 0708 955 5992. And if you want to on the second day, which is Friday, the 23rd of August 2019, send an SMS to the word PH2. That's PH for Port Harcourt. And number 2 to the same phone number, 0708 955 5992. That phone number again, 0708 955 5992. So send the word PH1 or PH2 to that phone number, and your seat is that to be at this event. And we're at Academy. We're looking forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
Great. What else should participants expect to get at this conference?
Well, there are several other value additions that I feel people should be looking forward to at this conference. Number one, in Real Academy, we believe education is not a one-time thing. It's actually a continuous thing. So just from this 3-hour conference doesn't guarantee you have everything you need. So we're going to be putting in your hand an educational DVD on e-trading at this conference. Now, this DVD is not supposed to be free. It's something you're supposed to pay for. But guess what? The first 100 people to send an SMS to be at this conference, you're going to be getting this educational DVD for free. So begin to send SMS right now and come pick up your educational DVD to help you to begin to trade for a living. Secondly, you stand a chance of getting a 125% trading bonus, which is equals to at least 125,000 naira. We are going to be giving Nigerians to start their e-trading business. Sometimes, some of us need a boost. We need the support. So that Academy understands that. So at this conference, we're going to be giving you our biggest bonus, 125% bonus. Thirdly, you have access to network with other traders. And some people who are already doing this business, they're making some money from it. You can network, ask them questions. How are they doing it? And fourthly, you're going to be getting the softwares you need installed for you. All these things you're going to get at this conference. I can tell you, you can't afford to miss it.
Can you tell us again the date, the venue, and time of the GET conference and how participants can register to attend?
The conference will be taking place for 2 days right here in the city of Port Harcourt. 2 very, very powerful days. You can't afford to miss it. Please, you don't have to be there for the 2 days. Just pick one of the days to be there. And the date the conference will be taking place is this week, Thursday, 22nd, and Friday, the 23rd of August, 2019. This week, Thursday, 22nd, and Friday, the 23rd of August, 2019. And on these 2 days, the time will be from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. From 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So 3 hours of very, very life-changing time. The venue of the event on that day will be at LA Kings Hotel. LA Kings Hotel. The address is 31 Stadium Road, opposite First Bank, right here in the city of Port Harcourt. LA Kings Hotel. The address is 31 Stadium Road, opposite First Bank, right here in the city of Port Harcourt. Very popular place. You cannot miss it. Now, it's also very important that you register to be at this event, so we know you are coming and we can prepare for you. And the register is very simple. All you need to do, send an SMS to your phone number, and then your seat will be reserved to be at this event. So take your phone right now. Let me show you how to register. If you want to attend on the first day, which is Thursday, the 22nd of August 2019, send an SMS with the word PH1. PH is short for Port Harcourt, and the number one to this phone number 0708 955 5992. And that phone number again, 0708 955 5992. And if you want to know the second day, which is Friday, the 23rd of August 2019, send an SMS to the word PH2. That's PH for Port Harcourt. And number 2 to the same phone number, 0708 955 5992. And that phone number again, 0708 955 5992. So send the word PH1 or PH2 to that phone number, and your seat is going to be at this event. And we're at Academy. We're looking forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
Okay, interesting. If you want what it takes to trade for a living, where you can get everything at the GET conference.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Michael Akinwale, for coming on the
program.
program.
Thank you so much.
All right, so opportunities, they come just once. Take this one. Until next time.
Talk radio.
I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
Wake up to today's quest.
Wake up.
All the news and information you need in one go. Get started with the best of sports, lifestyle, analysis, and Annie.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Can you feel it? Wake up to today's quest with Annie on Today 95.1 FM from 6 to 11 a.m. weekdays. Fantastic.
Opinion poll on today's quest.
More than 3 over 4 of the loots we are talking about in this country today were loots within the 16 years.
Here is a great opportunity to sample all our opinions on the issues
Amin
raised.
Potakat says the PDP is trying to divert our attention because Nigerian funds was looted by the PDP. Melody in Uniport says Madam Jonah is yet to come in terms of the fact that her tenure has expired. Annie, please tell him that investigation is not what you make public until the final stage.
Send your opinion to us on Facebook,
www.facebook.com/Today95.1fm,
or on Twitter @TodayFM951. You can also sample your opinions with us on WhatsApp or on our SMS portal using the numbers 070-1933-9962. So 4 minutes has gone past the hour of 10, and unfortunately we are unable to touch the other issues we said we'll actually touch on today, Manuel, because, well, Falana and others were shut out of a venue, and the security services says this was done because they believe it's an association of the hashtag Revolution Now protest, and that this is done for national security reasons. And we've been going back and forth as to whether they have the right to do that. What happens to our constitutional right of freedom to assemble, freedom of association, and freedom of movement? And at what point does the government, in its proactivity in ensuring that, it keeps the state and the statehood sane and one, take certain actions? Do they do this and it's not seen as an abridgment of our rights? And should that come before a court process is initiated and granted, or should it come after? This has pretty much been the back and forth that we've had here in the studio, and I will allow for a few more minutes so that we can wrap up our thoughts on this. But before then, let me just read something from Falana. The human rights lawyer, Femi Falana, says the call for revolution now is not new in Nigeria, as many political leaders have called for revolution at one point or the other. He said Nigerians called for revolution during the colonial rule, but unlike now, none of the agitators were charged with treason for it. And he spoke on Monday at a symposium organized by Coalition for Revolution, CORE, in Lagos. And he says, let the authorities in Abuja know that a call for revolution is not new. Political leaders in this country have been calling for revolution and nobody charged them, he said. When Nigeria was at this stage in the 1940s, a group of young Nigerians, the Zikists, gathered at Clover Hall, Lagos. Their leader, Osita Agbona, delivered a lecture titled A Call for Revolution. And those who shared the same thoughts with them were arrested and charged with sedition, that they were trying to embarrass the colonial regime. They were not charged with treason or treasonable felony. He also said the condoning of the venue for the symposium earlier on Monday by the police and the State Security Service reminded him of the era of military dictatorship. And he went on to say, when we were outside and were told the symposium will not hold, my mind went back to 30 years ago during the Babangida and then Abacha junta, when we could not meet. We defeated both dictators, and I can assure you that any other dictator would not be allowed to rear his ugly head. He said the government knows those disturbing the peace of the country. The Buhari administration knows those who are breaching the peace of Nigeria: terrorists, armed robbers, headsmen, coup plotters, and others. Those who went on the street to protest in exercise of their rights to assemble and complain against injustice, corruption, maladministration in our country cannot be said to have breached the peace of our country. Mr. Falana also charged members of the Revolution Now movement to remain resolute. A revolution, like Chairman Mao Zedong said, is not a dinner party. A revolution is a very serious, rigorous, and consistent battle for the soul of a country. What you have done is mere declaration of intention. The journey is going to be intense, take time, but I believe we have started and there's no going back, he said. So I'll pause there. So perhaps you can see where you mentioned this earlier, Emmanuel, when you said, well, who is the lawyer to Falana, to Showore? And well, this other meeting, with captions, or shall I say with titles that shows state repression and perhaps something to do with continuous struggle to revolution, seem to have irked the government and had sent the agencies in charge of securing the nation to swooping down to the venue and shutting them out. Falana says it reminds him of the days of Abacha and Buhari, but they defeated them, and that they will do so if any other dictator rears his head or her head.
At least for now, unfortunately, no dictator is in place. Because I remember vividly, actions may seem dictatorial, but then they are not in actuality dictatorial. Because you remember Buhari, I think after winning the election in 2015, he said there are several things he may wish to do, like he did in 1983, 84 and all that. But then the constitution of the country, as a Democrat now, ties his hands. So what Falana says, he may have such reminiscence. There's no doubt about that. But you see, for me, the sealing of that venue does not mean you shouldn't talk. No, they give them the freedom. They can talk. But
don't gather and talk.
Yeah, don't. As far as this issue, which we are suspecting to have links with Showore, we don't want it be further spoken on here. And the seal of the place. See, are we thinking about if they had allowed these people to assemble, they head them into a van and then take them to a prison? This is government. And you will also cry dictatorship. And then it will end. It's just like now we are here in this studio. We'll pick Daniel, pick Asha Frank and say, you people handle the leadership of this place, for instance. Then we'll subject ourselves to certain pronouncements they will make in our own interest. But if you kick against anyone, remember there's an arm, the judiciary. You go there and challenge their action. That's what I feel. A Falana that is talking about all these things should know more than Emmanuel Ndukwu along this line. He can take all these things they've done. For them, they think they've abridged their right. Take it to court. Already you are in that industry. Take them to court and then let's see how they court. But I must tell you, till any day, I cannot charge in my own mind or court of my mind, charge Showore that he has committed treasonable felony. No. Because the action, the thought, does not automatically galvanize into action. He didn't execute it. So how can you say it's treasonable? But if he had executed it and then he performed certain acts that would depict that he wants to bring down the government of Buhari, yes, it's treasonable. But now he merely
But there were certain statements, yes, the pronouncements he made did sound like that was the agenda, to bring down the government of President Buhari.
Good. You cannot hold him on a tangible execution of such pronouncement. In fact, they didn't allow him the pronouncement to materialize into action. They took him away. So how can you now charge him on treason? Yes.
Well, there was intention.
I disagree.
Good. No. You have your right. Please hold on. The intention I agree, because these are pronouncements. So if allowed, it will materialize perhaps into execution. But until the execution happens, what tangible situation
exists?
None.
Well, evidences of him saying those things.
No, you see, Annie, like government will say something. That's why we've been
because I
having
believe,
difficulty.
remember when we spoke about this, it was part of evidences of some of the speeches he gave that was tendered to the court that allowed them to hold on to Showore for 60 days.
Good. You see, for myself, I said yes. What that pronouncement amounts to change of the attempt to change government. That's what revolution for me means, politically speaking. And as at that, he should be taken off to be quizzed. But to say that so far, because he made that pronouncement, Showore has committed an offense who could liken to treason, I disagree.
Okay, and you don't agree that we have a dictatorial leader now as...
No, for now we don't.
As Falana was hinting
even
at.
some behaviors may have the semblance of dictatorship, but actions may also be looked upon by individuals as dictatorial. But the man sometimes listen to constitutional provision. But I tell you, in dictatorship, we know what happens now. They rule by decrees. They don't listen to constitution. And that's why when Chivokere and Archer Frank were talking, I agree with them.
Yeah.
The constitution is suspended.
Yeah.
Yeah, but some relevant actions, you know that.
Yeah, I think that was what Precious UDK was saying. It was not a complete suspension of the Constitution.
No, relevant actions that will stand against the decrees are suspended.
All right, then. Let me move on.
Yes, I have a swift response to.
We like the swift response.
Yeah, what Chief you see, as far as I'm concerned, judging by the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria, Sowore has committed treasonable felony. Because in our criminal code, there is what we call aiding and abetting. There's also what we call conspiracy. You cannot tell me that Sowore's action was not did not materialize, because even when he was arrested, people whom he conspired with were already on street doing what they have already discussed that they will do against the state of Nigeria. So for me, there's no doubt that Sowore has committed the offense as charged. The only thing is that he should look for a way, maybe after the 45 days of that the government has been given order to detain him, if he has a way to, get himself out of the hook, so be it. Otherwise, for me, as a person, I am seeing that he conspired, he abetted, he has committed the crime for me as alleged.
Okay.
However, on the other note, looking at the scenario of Falana and sealing of venue that we are discussing, I want to ask, what if government have said, okay, you want to do your symposium or whatever? Okay, go ahead and do it. Police agencies said, we're not part of it, we will not be part of it, we will not give you the protection, and you go ahead and start do whatever you are doing, and hoodlums come to ask you. What next will you do? You will still be looking for police, the government, to protect you. And in this country, when there is a killing now on the road, we will say government has refused to protect us. When the road is bad, we'll call government. When, in fact, every other thing that happens in this country within the territory of Nigeria, we'll call government. Now, why should we come to question government action, being proactive, to say so gathering is going to be anti-society, anti-government? We will not allow it to hold. We will not be criticizing government. We will not be talking down on government. For me, it is very, very wrong. And if you say government should have gone to court before stopping that, for me, I don't see it that way, because government, the executive, is merely carrying out their responsibility of maintaining law and order. And you also look at the timing, considering the bottlenecks, the bureaucracy in getting court order, in stopping whatever you need to stop, getting injunction. You look at those things, and perhaps the government who has the authority and power to stop it, who have done their own, it is now you that has been affected that should go to court and say whether the action of government was right or wrong. On me, then the court will make the pronouncement. We'll begin to take it off from there. For me, as far as I'm concerned on this particular issue, the government is right. People must learn how to obey the law and order for us to have sanity in society.
All right, then we got your thoughts very swift, like you said. Just a moment, Lord Ashafan.
You see, when we come here to educate ourselves in order to be able to advance society. When you say some countries don't have constitution, why they don't have constitution is that they have body of laws that guide the system. When you have a foundational legal system, you may not necessarily need a constitution to function. And that is why some countries don't have constitution. In Nigeria here, the military can suspend the constitution, but the military or anybody at all cannot suspend a Nigerian body of laws. That's the foundation that guides the country. And so whether you have Armed Forces Military Council, whether you have Supreme Military Council or whatever, they can throw away the constitution, but they cannot in any way refuse to function within the laws. And so you cannot abolish the court at any point in time. Having said so, I am not surprised with the position postulated by Femi Falana. I'm not surprised. Because I have always been one of those who believe that the problem of Nigeria is the elite. The elite in all its ramifications, in the academia, in politics, in business. The problem of Nigeria is the elite. The poor people, the common men, look at the elite as the people that will move society forward, and they are consistently disappointed because the elite always lies to themselves. You see that statement released by Falana, I am so disappointed. He even gave an example of Chairman Mao. Is Femi Falana that telling me that he's advancing a communist revolution in Nigeria? What is the ideological bent of this revolution now? Because as far as I know, Femi Falana is an entrepreneur. He's a businessman. He has his companies and interests in companies in Nigeria. So he's not a communist. So what are you exactly saying?
Can you only be forced? Those moves only be initiated by communists? Is that what you're saying?
You see, that is why I'm very disappointed with the Nigerian elite. The word revolution is ideological. You see, you in Nigeria here, the elite pervert things to perpetrate their own personal self-aggrandizement. The word revolution is ideological. The word revolution does not apply to capitalism. What applies to capitalism is reform. What applies to communism is revolution. It's a forceful change of the status quo ante. That's a revolution. A forceful change of the status quo. That's revolution. When you have a capitalist system and you want to move out of the capitalist system to a communist system, you effect a revolutionary change that must be bloodied. Revolutions are always bloodied. They are not peaceful. They are not. Anywhere. I challenge the Femi Falanas of this world to show me the thesis where revolutions anywhere on planet Earth is peaceful. They are not. What you have is peaceful transitions in a reformist system. You have a capitalist system. You want to privatize and commercialize government enterprises. You can reform. That's what you have. But when you have a fundamental change of government, blood must be shed. Because the entrenched interest will not allow it. So, and you are quoting Chairman Mao. The Chairman Mao start the revolution in China the way Showore and Falana are doing in Lagos and Abuja. Is that the process? You are deceiving people to advance your self-interest. Because if you want to pursue a revolutionary change, we know the process. We know the process. It's either you walk through the workers, which are already bourgeoisized in Nigeria, which is the Russian type, or through the peasants, which is the Chinese type. Which one are you doing? You just sit down and issue press statements and hold colloquium in one hotel and you say you're doing revolution at where? If you're looking for appointment from government, present your CV. If they want to appoint you, they give you appointment. Don't come and deceive people and speak grammars that don't make sense to a lot of us who know how these processes work. Right. So as far as I'm concerned, these people are serious. These people are people looking for attention. These people are not working on the interest of anybody.
All right, hold on. I'll just say something. I remember when we spoke about the Revolution Now protest when it was initiated, and we were talking about compliance level at that point.
Yeah.
And one of the things again then we said, was the need to build a base. People need to believe in you.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to,
exactly
as I said, you need to be able to sell your idea. I would think in getting to that sort of level would be holding meetings like what Falana and his group were trying to do. They need to talk about the issues and why they think that they need to have a change in government or take. So it will never happen if you have government clamping down around on it.
People now are that same level.
I don't agree.
I don't agree.
No, that's not you had your moment.
There can be no revolution successful in this country without moving it down to the people from
organization.
You cannot be talking it at Abuja there and you say people should come and follow you. How many of them
shouldn't
it
start somewhere? Shouldn't it start somewhere?
They have been.
Shouldn't it start somewhere?
That is, you see what Ashafra told you.
We cannot be upset
that people with vested interest. They should go down to the grassroots and say the idea from us.
Understand the position.
I'm still waiting.
The Showore and others who are the stakeholders at the beginning must have met severally. But then it must depart from them and flow from them to others.
Has it departed?
Wait now.
Have we even given a chance to start?
No, as for it,
With
they
shutting
were
down
not
their venue, have you given it
the
a start?
chance. That is the truth. You see, the operatives also work faster than them, as it were. So that once they wanted to start the sensitization, they clamp down on them. And perhaps, if that is true that they had intelligence, now the symposium also would have afforded them the opportunity to widen the dragnet of sensitization.
Within the
Within the elite. No, they'll still come down.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Will it end at the elite?
Daniel Momo. All right, let's allow Daniel Momo speak. All right, go ahead.
Very laughable.
Let me start from what Chief Okere ended his first listing. I think we're making a bit of a mistake to say that when these persons are allowed, let's assume, let Allah allow them and let the police not be there. Buhari don't own the police. It is the Nigerian police. Can Buhari survive there if you remove the army?
Did
remove
Buhari
the police?
send any police
Sorry,
there?
no, please. No.
Cool down.
No, sorry. He was making a statement where
Leave
he
Buhari
said,
out of it.
no, sorry.
No,
That's
he
what
won't
said.
leave Buhari out of it.
No,
Buhari
allow
he's the
him to
head
make
of
his
government there.
statements.
He's the head of the
Allow him to
executive.
make his
the head of
statements.
police.
That is what he was trying to
He's the
say. He's not the
commander-in-chief.
head of police,
Of
but
what?
he's the commander-in-chief of all security
So
forces.
he sent the police
We
there.
don't know if
No,
he did, but
no.
they're answerable
No.
to him.
Yes, of course.
To Buhari.
No, it's me.
Or to Commissioner of Police Lagos.
Go ahead.
So
Who gets his directions from who? Commissioner of Police Lagos.
I'm answering to you.
No,
I'm
now.
answering to your
It's
chairman.
from
Who appointed
Commissioner of
the
Police
IG?
gets
I'm answering
his...
to Annie.
Who appointed the
Do
IG?
I answer to your chairman?
All right, go ahead.
No, I just want to clarify what Chief Okere is saying. Whether for or against, it is statutory. That's the police duty. It must protect. Whether I am against the government, that is his duty. He must not choose what to do. That is what they are supposed to do. That's what the law says they should do. So there is nothing to say, maybe when we withdraw, let's see whether they can. No, it does not belong to you. You can't withdraw it. That's one. Two, you see, there is a thin line, and let us get that clear. A very thin line. Like when Falana said, we're approaching this dictatorship, and then Chief Emma said, no, this is not the era of decree or something. There are thin lines, and we must be very, very careful. The thin lines here, it does not have to be decrees for you to create a dictator. When a man does not respect the law, when a man chooses what law he respects, when he chooses what to do by sidelining the same law, it's a dictator. We have seen severally in this government. They went to court, they were defeated in court, and turned around to disobey that same judgment.
For example.
Dasuki's case with the ECOWAS court. But we represented.
No,
don't say that.
Don't represent ECOWAS court. You are not the only one who knows the protocol of the court.
Allow him to finish.
It's advisory.
Sorry, please.
Allow him, let him finish his nonsense, and then you can take up the nonsense.
Nigerian government had representative by the office of the Attorney General till judgment was delivered. Nigerian government was ably represented. Until that judgment was delivered, what happened? That aside. So let us not create and feel that a man must be in khaki to become a dictator. That's not true.
That's not what I said.
No, I'm not saying that's what you said. No, I'm not saying. I'm only saying there are thin lines, and we must be very careful not to allow. When, like I said, when a man chooses what law to obey, when a man himself chooses to circumvent a law, and tell me because you saw certain thing, it is bare parallel discussion. You forcefully took away the rights of people to assemble, to discuss, and then you say the people should go to court. There will be anarchy. If we keep doing this, I'm feeling that because we have the apparatus of government, and then we can go at any time, decide at any time, without even recourse to a court of law, at some point, to now say, I have closed it down, go to court, they will not allow it. Two, here you see, let's get this clear. Severally, like I said, there are several court judgments that said, Daniel Momo, you do not need a police order to assemble.
That's true now.
I did not need a police order to come here, to gather here, and for us to discuss. I don't need it. It's an assemblage of people here gathering to discuss. I don't need a police permit. So let us not sell our rights on the basis of the fact that we need a police report to gather in my house by 2 p.m. to have a discussion. No, please, no. That's the meaning, to tell me that the people should have written to the police.
Nobody says
no, you said it. You said it.
Me?
Yes.
I did it.
That they should have that you wrote to the police and the police refused you.
You must make a clarification.
Yes, that's what I said. But you said you wrote to the police.
Mama, you are missing everything.
No, I'm not missing anything. Lord Rasha Frank said he wrote to the police and the police refused.
Yes.
And I said, who said
yes, you wrote?
No, wait, sorry. You are making it that because you wrote and they denied you, they should have done. That was the meaning of that discussion.
No, that's not the meaning.
No, I'm saying that do not sell your birthright, because even the court has said this severally, that I do not need a police permit to have a peaceful, the word peaceful is true, a peaceful protest or assembly. Now I say, what the police did in Lagos, it is wrong, it is abominable, it is condemnable. You don't say on assumption. Whose assumption? Who knows? So you wake up and cook up a story, and so because of that you shut the place and say people should go home, or if you don't want to go home, go to court. You create anarchy. It's as simple as that.
Let me ask you that.
All right.
No, go ahead. Ask.
I want to ask him a
Yeah,
question.
go ahead.
Yes. 2 questions. If police say, don't do today, we are not comfortable with what you want to do today.
Okay.
And by so doing,
Not comfortable because
police refuse to create, because once you are protesting on the road, maybe you block the road, you block the movement of the people. But when the police is there, they will make sure that even when you are doing the protest, there will be access for people to pass. Now, as a result of your activity that day, because police have allowed you, because you have a right to go and protest, and you block the road. Now, patients who are supposed to go to hospital under emergency die on the road. People who were supposed to go for interview to get a job that day, they don't get their job that day. People who are supposed to go and do other things to survive that day, they lose it. Who suffers?
So I should write.
Have you not trampled upon the right?
Is that what you are saying?
Excuse me. Have you not trampled upon the right of other Nigerians?
That's the question.
Now, what I'm trying to say here to put to you here is that if police say don't do today, they have a right to protect you. That is why they say don't do today. They are looking for a convenient time and making sure that whatever I are going to do will not.
That's not true. Police cannot create a confident time for me to hold whatever conference I wish to hold. Police does not have a confident time to do that.
Annie, can I come in?
Yes, Emmanuel.
See, Daniel Momo, the analogy you gave is quite different from the scenario that really happened. See,
exactly.
These people, you and I plan today, we are going to hold a symposium. And then we release our agenda as itemized in what we read.
On security.
Good. On security, it did not end there. Let's say state repression. Now, remember that this agency of government came up also and stated their own plainly, so that you see where they derived that power. I'm talking in terms of Falana and others, to go to court and challenge. They now said they had an intelligence report that this thing is no longer, it has departed from suspicion here. It's very glaring. They mentioned especially that they have intelligence that this thing is linked to the Shore issue. Now, what is left of you that you claim that your right has been abridged? Remember that these people are doing the job they are established to do. Now, what is left of you is to go to court and challenge it. And
on the same day, you were supposed to hold a program, they came to shut that place down.
Hold on, now you cannot be.
No, sorry, they had this information before now. Why did they not go to court first?
No, wait.
To stop that
wait. You cannot go without knowing the venue. It is only when these people have come up and say we are going.
No, but I'm sure
that venue has been announced more than a week.
The venue was known.
No,
even the guests who were coming from abroad, it was more than a week.
Thank you very much. Let me answer you. Even if the police knows and they were waiting whether it will be true or not, and they now find out that yes, people were gathering, they have every right to go there and seal up. Now, what I'm telling you, Daniel, to show you that it's different from even Asha Frank was making a clarification of what he did on his own. He didn't set people right, and the police
was using that to back up what.
No, I agree now. Just as you are using your own analogy to back up whatever you are saying. But I'm telling you, there are two different issues here. These people said, we have evidence that this is linked to the revolution.
And it could
now.
be true and it could be lie.
No, I accept. And for you to now tell us that evidence you have, you charge them to court. Government can be taken to court.
Of course.
So what is the problem there?
I keep saying
Can
here
I come in?
that the security agencies could have, since they were already there, if you're sure that what they were going to talk about was how to carry out a revolution at the moment and change the present government, because I think that was perhaps what will be what they want to protect, that groups don't come seeking a change of government without, the democratic processes as we have, outside the democratic processes as we have. Nothing stops them from being part of that conversation going on there. And at the points where they feel this is not in line with what we will encourage, and ask for it to stop.
I agree, Annie, but obey the last order. That's one race supreme in their midst.
Can
So
I come
if
in?
the Oga, whoever sent them, said, go there, fill up that complex,
The Oga
it's
should have,
final.
the Oga should have
It's
known
final.
better. The Oga should have known better
Can I
then.
So
come in
take the
there?
Oga to court. Yes.
Asha Frank.
You see, you just read a statement of the convener, which I reacted to, of that meeting. And the statement of the convener confirmed the position of the police. I reacted to it. The convener issued a long statement. And that statement of the convener agrees completely that they are holding that meeting concomitant with that protest of Shore, of revolution now.
That's the implication of Falana's
That is the statement. And the police went there. They said they have intelligence that this meeting is a furtherance of that protest.
Yes.
And Falana have confirmed it. So what has the police done wrong? When the matter is already subsisting in the court of law, which Femi Falana himself as a convener is a son, and is even a lawyer of Showore in that very court. You see, the Nigerian elite thinks that they are very smart, and they think they can circumvent the law to suit their conveniences. And in doing so, when they fail, they think they can enlist the support of the poor masses that they have even forgotten on their side. It's not working.
All right. Okay. Well, we're going to take a break now. It's 10:55.
I've never seen the topic that dragged like
It wasn't supposed to be in fact, it wasn't supposed to be opinion pool, remember?
Yes.
It wasn't supposed to be opinion pool. Somehow it ended up in opinion pool. And then the only opinion pool. Knocked off real talk. I apologize for all our listeners who were expecting real talk. I would never do this again. I'll never make sure that these people control me like this. I apologize, but this is a point where we ask you to be part of the conversation. It's already 10:56, and to give ample time to have your feedback and your position on the issues or the issue particularly as we have discussed here. The numbers that you can send your thoughts to are 07019339962. That number is us. A text message or on a WhatsApp platform 07019339962, or you can tweet at us. Our Twitter handle is @TodayFM951, @TodayFM951, and also on Facebook we are Today 95.1 FM on Facebook. Just search for Today 95.1 FM on Facebook, like that page, or go to www.facebook.com/Today 95.1 FM and let's get your thoughts. Don't forget that you can watch us regularly on YouTube. Search for Today 95.1 FM on YouTube. Click on the live button so you can watch us live, and then don't forget to click on the subscribe button too. And this very text here says, good morning everyone. Auntie Annie, the Falanas, Asha Franks, Momos, Imaz have confused us, and they're still confusing us. Tell them to go for deliverance because has them in their books. I don't understand that. This is from Francisca anyways. Please, Annie, please don't bring people that will misinform us based on their political affiliation or interest. Mr. Iman Dukwe seems to be getting something from this government, because I've been listening to him for so long. He always tried to deviate from the truth, even when government did wrong. But if issues concerning Biafra or IPOB, he will vehemently criticize it. Kelvin, you send that in from Port Harcourt. I encourage those supporting the present Nigerian government to continue to do so. They are saying that until your family member is hit, you will know the pains. Asha Frank, so you were deceiving people when you were on radio calling Nigerian youths to join you to take over leadership of Nigeria. This is from Law. But in taking over leadership of Nigeria, what he probably meant that through the democratic processes as we have enshrined in the Constitution.
I know, because he said here that he does not believe in that same Constitution.
Well, he said he doesn't believe in the Constitution.
If you believe in your Constitution, why are you having conferences and calling for conferences? Is it not to rewrite your Constitution?
Lord, that's your friend.
No, you say have conference.
No, you would have. Are there not changes in society?
Alright.
Changes.
Let's get back to the text messages. Gift at Elio says, please, let's all shift here and there. A democracy without freedom of speech is sick. Blind partisanship is also sick. Someday another party will come on board and tongues will bend backwards. Well done. He says, heated argument, I'm sweating. Good morning, Annie and your guests. What happens if holding the symposium is granted by the court and federal government disobeys, citing public interest again? This is from Gentle Francis.
If it's against national security, yes.
And they get to decide that
Government
this is
has
like,
the right.
We'll
and
come
they
up
get
with our analysis.
they get to come up and it's government again that will decide that this
come
is
back to them.
no. I know we have always argued as to who gets to decide whether this thing institutes
court.
national security.
The court.
Lord Asher Frank, you have succeeded in hijacking the show from Annie.
Chineke.
You keep attacking other guests when they want to air their thoughts, and he says he's not attacking; he's just trying to. We have them in our books. Does it mean that if you're a member of a political party and they're wrong, you won't reprove them? All right. And this says, I've never been this disappointed with Okere for a while now. I can understand Emmanuel and Asher Frank being government compliant with their opinions. But on a day when Dan Momo, who is epileptic or cosmetic, if that appeased him better, with the truth, who stand on the truth on the masses side. Why you're the one who's supposed to be epileptic with the truth. You're this way, they don't know where you are. But sits comfortably manipulating the Constitution with his cohorts and supporting the oppression of the people. I'm disappointed. Jerry from Alu, you send that in.
Jerry,
is disappointed.
Don't worry, Jerry. Next time, I will appease you. No wonder.
We refuse. Do it now. This is Annie. If you watch Falana's meeting yesterday with a group of young people that wore the Revolution Now cap, that alone shows that the move is in line with Showere. Bonki Kalu, you send that in from Port Harcourt. And then another here says, how can you use your right to create lawlessness by raising crisis? Femi, you send that from Rumo Koro. You also said, good morning, Annie. Just want to say a big thank you for Lord Asher Frank for his wealth of vast knowledge and issues. No right is absolute in any society, even in America. All right. He says, how can you use your right to create lawlessness by raising crisis? Good morning, Today FM. Someone said he doesn't believe in the revolution, in the Constitution, and that we should throw it away. Do you know that's treasonable felony? Should he be charged as such?
No, it's not.
And President Buhari and his likes called and carried out a revolution in 2003, 2007, and 2011. He even commended Egypt's military for not intervening and shooting or harassing Egyptians who marched against Mubarak's government. Should he be charged for treason? These are pertinent questions those supporting this government's action should answer. Have a nice day. This is from Legacy. You send that in from Port Harcourt.
He made a statement. He didn't take the action.
Annie, good morning. I am really appalled that some people could condemn the sealing off of the venue of such symposium when intelligence available to security operatives shows there may be breakdown of law and order. Let me ask this question. If we decide to go to court for interpretation of such gathering and before the court's decision there is a revolution arising from that symposium due to what they heard, will there be a country where we'll be considering right or wrong? No. This is from Oge. Annie, Falana to me is the real dictator because he is part of a plot to change an elected government without an election, which is constitutional. Annie, can you be the president and you sit in the comfort of your office and hear people making serious plans to remove you from that office, which you were duly elected into? Say the truth. Would you fold your arms and let them remove you before you take actions to stop them? This is from IBC. I remember when we spoke about Revolution Now protest then, I said there is no democratic government. In fact, I use democratic because they're the most liberal government anywhere who understand there's an uprising, a revolution in the horizon and will wait until it comes to his gates and pulls it down. they will try to do as much as they can to shut it down. So I didn't see anything wrong with government trying to shut it down. I will have a problem if they didn't have any sort of intelligence that this was a revolution in any form and that it was just a protest and then they clamped down on the people.
Yes.
That is where I would draw the line. I think I had mentioned that earlier. So in this direct question, if I was president of a democratic nation and there were people who were conspiring somewhere to shut me down, I would definitely ask that the relevant agencies do the right thing in keeping them out of, continuing that action. But I also want to ensure that while that is done, that the rights of the people is not totally thrown away, which is why we're having this conversation, where your constitution allows you to gather peacefully, allows you assembly, and then you have a government agency that says, because we believe this is associated with another group, we're shutting it down. At what point is that okay? And at what point is our rights taken from us? That was the essence of the conversation. All right, so let me get back to some text messages here. This text message says, Lord Asher Frank, Chief Ima, and Chief Loveday. Okay, Ray, thank you for speaking the truth over the ill-intended symposium. This is from Das in Port Harcourt. All right, the phone lines are officially open. It's 4 minutes after 11. The numbers to dial are 0810-951-0951 or 0817-0000-951. You get to us here straight into the studio. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Daniel and I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, Daniel, go ahead.
For me, the federal government and the police will always have intelligence reports when people want to protest against the government. But when you want to protest in the favor of the government, their intelligence report lost. They won't have it. Hello?
We're listening to you, Daniel.
So if you want this government, they constantly have intelligence reports each time protest goes against it. That is my concern. 250 DBA intelligence report. Why is that this government don't want people to exert their freedom in terms of protest? Which is where I have it.
All right, Daniel, do call back if you can. Hello, Today 95.1 FM.
Annie, good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling?
It's Mascot calling from Port Harcourt.
Mascot, good to have you. Go ahead.
Good morning, everybody in the call.
Thank you.
You see, Nigeria, we need to be always on the side of the people, Nigerians. Because why am I saying this? We are now, like we want to, this thing has a gradual process, a gradual momentum until it metamorphoses into a full-blown dictatorship. Now we'll start to cry. The freedom of expression, freedom of speech is enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution. And nobody should be allowed, everybody, including Mr. President, derives his powers from the Constitution. Nobody should be allowed to create a gap in the Constitution or to assault the Constitution. The idea of closing up a symposium where a group of people want to freely express themselves, this is not a revolution now. And security details are sealing it up. Instead of security details to go and catch this Wadume that was let off the hook in Taraba, instead of them to go and fight Boko Haram,
they all can be there and concentrate in one issue. You can't say because they were at the symposium shutting it, they stopped the case on Wadume. Because they were at the symposium trying to shut it down, there were no more in Boko in Sambisa Forest.
You see, why I mentioned that was that these are the areas they should work.
And they are working there. That's the point of my replying you. They are there.
Okay. But now, they should leave people to freely express themselves, either in a symposium, either as a conference, either as a protest. People should be allowed to, even as I'm talking in the radio, I should be allowed to freely express myself. During the time of former president, Goodluck Jonathan, I remember, can you allow me to talk? I remember, even with the APC as opposition, then they were allowed to freely express themselves. I remember at the time they said that the one from the...
Hold on, do you know what? The issue with freely expressing, you've got to understand where that becomes a problem. If you're freely expressing yourself and what you're saying is you want to remove this government, that you're freely expressing yourself and you're saying you want to topple this government. Hold on. If you're saying that you want to do that without using the duly appointed democratic processes, obviously any government in place will want to shut you down.
Nobody will want to remove any government through unconstitution.
No, I don't understand if you listen to some of the things that Shori was talking about.
To talk. Because talking does not mean or transfer that you are going to remove the government. The idea of shutting that supposed value is anti-democratic, it's anti-constitutional, it's unconstitutional, and it's anti-people.
All right. Thank you very much. We got your thoughts. Thank you for having Comrade James from Okrika.
Most are to obeying the government. People to respect the government at some times. There are times you go to the civil authority. It's quite unfortunate, but I think the right thing must be done by the government to protect law and order. And I think I'll start with Imauke and
Lord Asher Frank. We got your thoughts there. Thank you. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
When Stupid did want to carry out his own protest last year, a musician, no God, I agree with
you. Was stopped by the police. Did the police stop the
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is DK in Port Harcourt.
DK in Port Harcourt. Good to have you. Go ahead.
My greetings also to your guests in the studio.
Thank you very much.
Annie, government has right to protect the state. Because the human rights you were asking, because you see, at the end of it, Anna and others, IMN members are held from protesting. So, but that right should be within acceptable limits of government's right. And coming to Soyinka himself, I can't overlooking the ears.
To add a voice to the discussion, some of us guests have spoken very well. Got to the point that when you say the unfortunate,
that would be unfair. When we bring them on board after they air their very much.
It was tear gas.
Hello, today 95.1
so
FM.
Which
good morning.
freedom is he talking about?
Hello, good morning, Annie.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
He's calling from Yanagwa.
Okay.
How are you?
Gives your voice is rather different today. Good to have you. Go ahead.
Buhari was also tear gas.
Lord Asher Frank, allow us to contribute, please. You've been talking, please. Parallel government that if they rig, who will now justify the rigging?
Let me ask you a quick question here.